With great power comes great responsibility. This saying has come to be associated with Spider-Man, the web-slinging hero we all know and love. Spider-Man has been a favorite around the world for more than 40 years, thanks to comic books, TV shows, and, of course, movies. Spider-Man has come a long way from his humble beginnings as a made-for-TV movie in the 1970s to Spider-Man: No Way Home, which was a huge hit. In this video, we'll look at Spider-Movie-Man's history and see how the character has changed over time. So put on your spider suits and get ready to go. Before we begin, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and press the bell icon. Nicholas Hammond. Most people think of Tobey Maguire as the first movie Spider-Man, but Nicholas Hammond did it more than 20 years before him. Before CBS decided to make a whole Spider-Man TV show, they made a 2-hour TV movie to see if it was possible. Hammond never really wore the costume on stage, which is probably for the best since it wasn't very heroic or inspiring. Still, the superhero was popular enough to bring in over 16 million viewers, and a 5-episode series was ordered even though most fans didn't agree with Peter Parker's plan to stop a mind-controlling New Age guru, instead of a supervillain. It only lasted 13 episodes because the cost of making comic book stories into movies was too high. With TV shows and specials about Wonder Woman, The Incredible Hulk, Captain America, and Doctor Strange all competing for attention, the network faced the same risk of superhero fatigue as movie studios do today. The TV show was never transferred from VHS home video to DVD. So, if you have a copy, keep it so you can see the show's flaws for yourself. One strange example is that Peter's famous Aunt May is always played by a different actress every time she shows up. Tobey Maguire. It's hard to believe, but movie studios have been trying to make a Spider-Man movie since the days when Nicholas Hammond's stunt double stopped plans to blow up the White House. There were a lot of scripts written, including a dark, adult one by James Cameron, who directed Avatar. Directors from M. Night Shyamalan to David Fincher were all considered. In the end, the job went to Sam Raimi, who is better known for making low-budget horror movies. The studio chose Raimi because of how much he cared about getting Spider-Man right, and they clearly made the right decision. Some people were surprised that Tobey Maguire was chosen to play Peter Parker instead of more experienced or more traditionally handsome actors, but the decision to find the right Peter Parker and not the right Spider-Man paid off. People liked Maguire's goofy charm, and his physical change was one of the first superhero makeovers that made people gasp. And this time, the costume, story, and bad guys are all based on the comic book source material, which is a good thing. Even the studio security couldn't stop them when they had a one-piece costume torn right off the comic page, and an armored Green Goblin that still worked. It took the studio more than a year to find a few of the stolen costumes, which were taken by a security guard and his partner. Can you say you're sorry? Sam Raimi's version may not be timeless for comic fans today, but it was the first movie to make more than $100 million in its first weekend and one of the most popular and well-reviewed superhero movies of all time. This helped prove that comic book heroes were the next big thing in Hollywood blockbusters. Most of the time, you can't have that kind of luck twice, but Sam Raimi did. For Spider-Man 2, he upped the stakes, increased the action, and doubled the budget. It's hard to say exactly what made the movie so good, but Dr. Octopus, the main bad guy, was interesting, funny, and beautiful to look at. But the real success was hidden beneath the surface. Spider-Man 2 came out a long time before dark superhero movies were all the rage. In it, Peter Parker tried to be a hero and a man, and he learned that being a superhero usually meant that he couldn't be happy. Superhero movies and TV shows still use this idea for drama. Even though Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight is considered by many to be the best comic book movie, Spider-Man 2 is still one of the best examples of what the genre can be, if not the best. Andrew Garfield. When Raimi's third movie showed that the studio's hopes for the character were different from his, the decision was made to cancel plans for Spider-Man 4 and make the next movie a reboot. It seemed like a risky idea to restart a superhero so soon, especially since it would mean telling the same origin story all over again. But everything changed when Andrew Garfield was cast as the lead and up-and-coming actress Emma Stone was cast as Peter's real first girlfriend, Gwen Stacy. The story seemed to be aimed at a younger audience more used to grim heroes, and the darker, more tactile costume reflected that. Still, not everything was bad. Fans can argue about whether or not Andrew Garfield could play Peter Parker as a convincing outcast and bullied nerd, but no one has ever done a better job of capturing Spider humor and sarcasm. Fans left the theater talking about Garfield and Stone's obvious chemistry. It was enough to build a franchise on, and when they started dating soon after, the future looked even brighter. Fans didn't mind how similar the origin story was to the last one. They were even willing to forgive a CG lizard villain because the special effects were better and the main character was likable. With director Mark Webb at the helm, Sony moved to build a whole shared universe around Spider-Man, with movies about villains like Venom and the Sinister Six that stand on their own. When Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out in theaters, these plans quickly changed. Critics and fans still couldn't get enough of Peter and Gwen, but the movie got mixed reviews because it had 2 villains and a lot of supporting characters and subplots. Even though Gwen Stacy's death was shown in a faithful and powerful way, the low box office numbers for the franchise showed Sony that they were going in the wrong direction. Almost overnight, sequels, spin-offs, and movies set in the same universe were put on hold for good. Sony realized that you can't build a universe of franchises if you don't have the right star. Garfield had to start all over again, which was too bad. Tom Holland. Fans of Marvel Comics had to pinch themselves when they heard that the rift between Marvel's films and Sony's Spider-Man had been bridged. The web-slinger was fully introduced into the MCU as part of Civil War, before Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige came over to produce a Spider-Man solo film. Not long after the announcement, Garfield found out that he was no longer in the running. Marvel wanted to cast a high school-aged actor in the role of Peter Parker. Actors under the age of 20 fought hard for the role, and only a few were brought in for screen tests with Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. Tom Holland got the part in the end. He was already a good jumper and dancer because he was the star of Billy Elliot, the musical in London. The decision to tell Peter Parker's origin story again may be a necessary risk at this point, but when the new Spider cameo man's in the second trailer for Captain America: Civil War went viral online, it was clear that fans want Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Spider Suit Mans can only change so much from one version to the next. It has a technical but classic design, and the eyes look like they were taken from an animated show. Even the eyepieces move when you look through them. Spider-Man: No Way Home, the most recent movie in the series, came out in 2021. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are both back as their versions of Spider-Man in this movie, which has made over $1.6 billion at the box office around the world. The movie looks at the idea of the multiverse, and brings back a lot of characters and bad guys from previous Spider-Man movies that fans liked. This was the evolution of the Spider-Man movies. We hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon for more videos about the evolution of things. Thank you for watching.